Okay, let's get started here and welcome everybody to this little webinar that we've put together here for you. Let me just get some stuff here together. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us. I know that everybody's busy, and so we'll just move right along here. I know some people have to even leave early, they were saying, but there is a recording. I'll say it right now, and I'll say it again later. There's a recording of this that you're going to get. As long as you're registered, you'll be receiving a recording. I don't know, like, 3 or 4 hours after it's done. I'm Vic Noble, and I'm here with Shirley Hudson.
Hi, everybody.
There, yeah, good. You can hear Shirley. So we're going to go over our London close trade strategy today for all of you and give you a sense of what it's all about, why it works so well, and it's one of those ones, I think we said in the email, it's been around a long time and really been a popular course. Probably, I don't know if it's been the most popular course, but it probably has been actually, and you'll see in a bit here. One thing I need to do, or to be do this properly, is that it's very important that you read and understand this disclaimer. The last thing that we want is anybody getting hurt financially, which is completely avoidable. I'll talk about that in just a minute, but first I'll just read this over here because it. I used to be a futures broker, and they absolutely hammered it into our heads that, whenever you have a client, you read the Riot Act to them and how dangerous it is and blah, blah, blah. But it is important, and this is a good thing to do. So just bear with me here. Trading currencies on margin involves a high level of risk, which may not be suitable for all investors. Leverage can work against you as easily as it can work for you. Before deciding to trade currencies, you should carefully consider your trading and financial objectives, level of experience, and appetite for risk. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or possibly all of your trading capital. Therefore, you should not fund a trading account with money that you cannot afford to lose. It's recommended that you seek advice from an accredited financial advisor. if you have any doubts as to whether currency trading is right for you. I'm not sure what that is, actually. No representation or guarantee is offered or implied as to the trading results that may be attained by applying concepts presented herein. Any losses incurred by traders unsuccessful in applying these ideas or methods are the sole responsibility of the trader, and Curex Investment Services, which is Forex Mentor, and its principals, contractors, and assigns will be held safe from prosecution in any form. Ooh, how about that, eh? That's right, Bernie Madoff.
I have to read this one. Oh, you
Bernie
go ahead.
Madoff. Bernie Madoff. He says Bernie Madoff was an accredited financial advisor. That's what I'm talking. That's what I mean. These guys. Gee, I do mean this seriously, though, you guys. Please, please pay attention to risk. It's absolutely everything. So let's have a little look at this whole concept of trading the London close, why you'd want to do it. And there's a lot of reasons, but what we'll do is just kind of go through some of the highlights and the reasons why people are attracted to it. It's a limited time window. So it means you don't have to sit around at your computer all day. It only trades we only look at it between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern time. By the way, we always talk Eastern time just for a standard, just so it's the same all the time. The nice thing about the London close is that the major news is just about always out of the market. Once in a while you might get a speaker speaking or something like that, but generally, like 8:30 Eastern time, the news comes out, the news embargo is lifted, and all these reports come out, and the market's going nuts. But by the time the London close comes around, everything's out there, so it's good. There's frequent trade setups. You'll see. If you look at Shirley's reports and her track record that she puts on the site, there's a lot of trades in it, so there's lots of opportunity. Not that you have to trade a lot, but there's lots of opportunity. So it's been around for over 6 years now with the same parameters, something that we're really proud of. We haven't monkeyed around with it and massaged everything and changed it and thrown in a new this or that into it. There's nothing different. It's the same as it always was. Now, this is really important. Before we move on any further, I want to go over what I think is one of the most important parts of this webinar, and that is setting expectations. And this kind of goes for any kind of trading you're doing. In a few minutes, you're going to see some pretty amazing results. You're going to see, you'll see Shirley's, you're going to see some comments from some very, very happy LCT traders. But you need to understand that it didn't just happen overnight. Every single one of them has put in a lot of study, to become proficient at trading the London close. And now, only after doing that, they're starting to see some super results. So, just understand the process comes first. The consistent profitability comes as a result of the process, okay? And by process, I mean going through the course thoroughly, multiple times, understanding what a valid setup looks like, going through the follow-up webinars. They're excellent, and they'll really help you. A lot of people skip those over. Studying the daily update video that Shirley puts out Monday through Thursday every week, okay? That's the LCT Daily Update Service. By the way, I'll talk about that in a bit. You get the first month free of that thing just to help you get going on it, and it's really inexpensive after that. If you look at Shirley's results and you say to yourself, yeah, I want to get results just like that. Look, we have no way of saying that you're going to get results like her or anybody else for that matter. Okay, your results are going to be unique to you. We have no way of knowing how you're going to do. But obviously, it's in everybody's best interest that you develop into a great LCT trader, right? We want to help you do that, and we're here to help you. So don't just think that you take this system or any other system for that matter and just make money with it. It takes study and time, and you have to decide if it's worth it or not. You'll see what some people do, but it's really worth it. Don't skip anything, right? Go through all the stuff, take the necessary time, and listen to this here. Do not risk a bunch of money while you're learning how to do this. What's the point? I mean, it's completely unnecessary. You can trade with micro lots, which is exactly what we recommend, by the way, until you are very proficient at trading these setups. And you'll know, you'll know if you are or not. With 2 micro lots, and why not just trade 2 micro? What's the point in doing more than that? In most cases, you're only going to be at risk for $2 for trade, because usually our risks are like 10 pips. Okay? So.
And I have a comment there.
Yes.
And Henry put it up. He says, absolutely, it does not happen overnight, but it does happen. And Henry and Debbie both have been taking the same entries I have. Well, you do too, Vic. I mean, you and I frequently get the same entries, but they become recognizable over time. Yeah.
Oh, I know. It's amazing. I was just, I am still actually, just so you know, I'm still short the Kiwi today from the London close, and I've got no risk in it anymore. But anyway, it's a bit of a sidebar. We do get the same, not always the exact same ones. Henry got the very same trade that Shirley had today to the pip, which was pretty cool, and he does these really well. So super good, Henry. Anyway, let me get going here. Now, let's talk about the strategy just a little bit and what it is, why it happens. There's a reaction at the close of the London stock market. It's really well known. It's been that way for many years. We didn't invent it, or we weren't the first ones to notice it, I guess is the way to put it. But what we've done is we've injected some unique parameters that we found will give you the best chance to take in some pips at this time of the day really reliably. It's the most active session is London of all of the sessions, and then it overlaps with New York, right? And then New York gets going, and then it kind of moves into the close of the London stock market at 8:30 Eastern Time. What happens at that time of the day is price tends to have a bounce the other way. And again, you do have to have the right parameters set up before you even start considering that. But it tends to move counter trend, like to whatever the trend of the day is. So if like in the case of the euro today, it was going up, 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 up all day. Around the London close, you learn how to get into it properly, it moved down a little bit. Now, it didn't move very much today, but it just about always comes off like that, and sometimes it'll move a lot. You can get a really good pull out of it. Other times, not so much. That's just like with any trading setup, right? And the opposite, if it's going down, it'll usually bounce up within the confines of our parameters. The news is out, I mentioned that earlier, which is kind of nice, and then you have this limited time window between 10 and 1 Eastern. It's a really robust system. Nothing's changed. Like I said, we're quite, I feel like that's kind of bragging rights almost, because, systems, a lot of people monkey and Jimmy and fiddle with them and stuff like that, and we haven't done any of that. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of webinars that we have in the course as well with tips and hints and adaptations for trade management. So, and ways to handle risk, take additional profits, that kind of thing, ideas for how to get out of these trades and everything. So it's all in there. It's at the website is right here, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'll just show it. I'll just give this to everybody here now in case you have not seen it. And I'll just let me see here. I'll just put it right into the, send this to everybody. Hang on a second. There you go. I think everybody, did you guys get that? Let me just make sure. Yes. So that's just the that is just the actual site, okay? So yeah, exactly, Henry, and I'll get to that in just a sec here too. There's a site you can go to, you can even follow us on Twitter. Shirley posts updates while she's trading. It's not easy to do that, by the way, so don't, this is not a call service.
Yeah, I want to interject there. This isn't a call service, but as I have time, I'll give you as much information as I can or some hints, and I repost the ADRs, and we'll talk about that later too. And I sometimes have time to key in there if I'm watching for a figure or 50 level or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, you guys will see that, and her priority is obviously to trade. You know, posting things on it is second. That's not the priority. So just keep that in mind. She does her best, and I tell her don't even bother. I mean, just do your trading first. But she likes to put them in there, and that's very nice just for you guys to have that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on here. This is we started this in actually it's the 6th year. Started at the end of 2010, I believe. It's been traded before that, but we didn't actually make it into a course before that. These are, you know, this is up until just recently here, and you can see, you know, the kind of performance that it's made here. It's been, you know, pretty incredible. I think that anybody would be pretty happy having that kind of a track record and accuracy and that kind of thing. But it's I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. You got an average of 2.33 to 1. Now this is what Shirley's done, by the way. Okay, probably nobody else has done this, and you don't have to. And you'll see, you know, I mean, other people do super well with it. You don't have to get this kind of accuracy or this kind of anything.
But I also need to interject. I do take all the trades per pair and put them in as one total. So the spreadsheet will show you whether I took 2 or 3 trades, but I might have a break even or a loser, and then I might have a mitigation and it made money. So it's a little bit inaccurate to say it's totally 98.45% if you looked at every single trade that was taken.
Yeah,
but it's the average of the day for that pair.
You guys understand that? See, so if she trades the euro, you know, 3 times that day, and one of them was a loser, and the other 2 were winners, and the overall was a winner, that's one day. That's one trade. That's one trading for the day. So we just want to disclaim that, make sure that you understand that we just look at them at the end of the day. How did the euro do? How did the cable do? How did the U.S. Canadian dollar do, or whatever it is, and let's aggregate them. Makes it just a lot easier. Otherwise, there's a huge amount of inputs, and it's just cumbersome. Okay. Okay, now let's get to the next one here. This is the website I just gave you here. We have an LCT update service I'll talk about in a minute, which is a daily video of all the trades and an explanation in detail from Shirley what she did, why she did it, and that kind of thing. When you have the course, you get the month free access to the update service, and which of course also includes all of the Q&A webinar recordings, which are really valuable for you to hear, in my humble opinion. Okay. Is the sound okay? Somebody is complaining about scratchy sound. Let me see, Kat, how are you hearing it? Sound is clear, says Justin. Good on my end, says Michael. Everybody's saying it's
okay
good.
Here.
Okay, thanks, Peggy. Super good.
And you might have to take it from the recording. I am seeing some of you are having trouble hearing it. It could be the internet where you are too.
Yeah. Ranjit, how are you doing? He's hearing it all the way in Scotland, so everything's good.
Oh my, it's over there right now. Okay.
Okay, here's what it looks like when you go into the course itself, and there's all sorts of stuff in here. The video course is right here, the whole course right there. The Noble entry and the Forex support resistance course, we put that in there as a bonus. Henry was mentioning that. Yes, the recording there will be a recording, Michael, and it'll be available for later. And we have all the follow-up webinars, a bunch of sample trades and all that kind of thing. There's just lots and lots of resources for you to go over. Don't let it be overwhelming. Just go through things one at a time. Just have a look at them. These are really important to go through. These are the webinar archives right here. We have over 18 of them, and they're really valuable. I mean, there's little tips and tricks in here that are really help when it comes to using these. Here they all are here. Like I say, there's lots of them, or more of them. There's a bunch back here, and then these ones here. We haven't done one actually for a while. We're going to probably do one actually maybe next month.
Yes.
Another just for the members only.
And don't be put off by the dates on those being 2010 or 2011 or 2012. They're as current as today as they were then.
Yeah, that's what I say. Nothing's changed with them, and that's kind of the nice thing about it. Okay. Am I going the right way here? There we go. Okay. So, did you want to say something, Siri?
No, that's okay.
Okay. This is the additional resources that we have here. This is the daily update service, and this day in the life here, Shirley and I did a workshop back in 2012, was it, I think? Anyway, it was a live workshop we did in Seattle, and then she went through everything step by step, what she does every day, how she does it, etc. So there's just for your FYI. It's not part of the course, by the way. It's a separate thing if you may or may not want to do that. The additional resources also I mentioned is the Noble Entry, which is an integral part of the LCT strategy, by the way. And the Forex Support Resistance course, it's something I just did years ago and put it in, but it's still, it's as relevant today as it was then as well. We've added in, no, I won't even go there, just leave that, just like that. So let me see here. I don't think there's anything else to really, loss mitigation, things that Shirley put together. If you have a losing trade, how you can get back in at a really good levels again to actually make up the losses that might have been in there. And
or leave it alone.
Or leave it alone, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see here. Let me just get rid of somebody so I can just see any comment.
There's nothing right now.
So, okay, good. So anyway, that's the LG update service area, and you can see the ADRs here. Like we watch the average daily range every single day because that's one of the qualifying conditions for a proper LCT trade, and we want to see that we're at good levels. And then so Shirley will show here's what the wrap up. The wrap up video will be here when it's rendered and finished, and you just click on the date and up it comes, and you can listen and see exactly what she did and why and all that kind of thing. And what else we got here? We got, now I'm going to show you, look, I'm going to show you a few comments from some traders who use the LCT setup all the time. I don't mean these to be hypey and to be, I don't know, some kind of a slick sales trick or something like that.
We didn't ask for this. They gave these to us too.
Yeah, and you know what?
I think for permission.
Well, we always ask for permission. We don't put anybody's stuff up unless they say it's okay. But I think it's always good to hear from somebody else saying it's good besides the authors of the course. I think that's, obviously we go, oh yeah, it's really good. Well, what do other people think about it? So this is Edna. She's in South Africa and been trading this for a long time. Actually, I did an interview with her years ago and how well she was doing back then. We just got this like last week, I think it was. A lovely LCT today for 22 pips. I'm over the moon with this way of trading. And here she is. This is another one. Hi there, my friends in the north. I always love sharing these trades with you. A beautiful short which paid a handsome 17 pips, even though I don't trade every day. She doesn't trade every day. I can see setups easily, today being testament to the fact that the setups show themselves time and again, and clearly one can pick them up. Many thanks again for teaching a super way. All the best, Edna. And this is Martin. You guys actually, you got the email here, so you would have seen this one here. Actually, is Martin here today? He was talking about maybe getting in here. Martin, are you here? Let me have a quick look.
He might not be. He's pretty busy.
Yeah, no, he is not. Okay, so anyway,
he's been really good in the UK too about helping local traders if they're having a question or something. He's also been sharing a little bit of his own ability to understand the system with newbies, which is good of him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I did an interview with him too, actually, a few years back. But since 2011, he's been doing this. So it just shows you, that. But strategy is very accurate. Allows a number of weekly trades. Shirley and Vic are on hand for support. I thoroughly recommend the course. Let me look here. So what else?
And Henry's right. Teaching helps you learn too.
Yeah, no kidding. Whenever you teach something, you always learn it better. But this is Alex. He says, I'm truly amazed at the simplicity and accuracy of this trade setup. Not only is it unbelievably simple, but the idea behind why it works just makes total sense. I also love the short time window of this trade. A lot of people like that. One more here, and I'll leave it at that. And this is a Debbie who has just been, man, she's been
she's amazing.
So amazing. She's a student. Actually, Shirley, why don't you tell her story?
Okay, she's a student, and she started trading the LCTs, and I think she was also doing Uber driving, anything to earn a little bit of extra money while she's in the university. And she got a hold of this, and she really studied it. I mean, she really studied it. Her engineering mind just went to town on it. And then she tried to come up with the ability to guess, well, to kind of, not really guess, but she was trying to come as close to what I would do in the wrap-ups. Of course, I don't show everything I'm doing on the tweets or the postings until I get to the LCT wrap-up. And amazingly, time and time again, she was comparing her pip count to mine at the end of the week, and they were just about the same. I mean, she got some I didn't get, and it's just amazing how she's been doing this.
What she is... And
she's in the Midwest, and I would love to meet her someday. I really would. Yeah. I mean, I'm just really impressed with her ability to do this.
Yeah, she's
very
pretty amazing
lady.
And what she's been doing is taking, I'll just kind of condense this a bit. She looks at her pip count at the end of the week, and she compares it to Shirley's, and she puts them side by side, and that's kind of a game that she plays, and that's her new goal now is to see if she can match pips.
She's beating me sometimes.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Great.
But she's not trying to get higher accuracy. That's not it. That's not her thing. She's just trying to get the pip count up there, which is great. She says, wanted you to know this is the highest I've ever gotten when compared with how many pips you made. Yay, I'm super excited. Came in within 2 pips of what you made. Plus, she had another trade of 65 pips, a 37.5 pip average on a Friday, which we don't include in the results, by the way. So, anyway. Obviously, she's pretty happy, but I'm just so happy with the LCT, she says here. That's, like I say, it's so nice.
Oh, we can include Fridays, Michael. He's saying, why not Fridays? And sometimes I do a Friday. Sometimes I have to miss a day during the week, and I will include a Friday. I love non-farm payroll Fridays, and I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn now anyway.
Just a second. What do we got? Yeah. You know what? I'll just do this, and then Shirley, I want you to talk about your charts for those people.
I will.
And Henry, yes, she's probably is another multitasking genius. She's, yeah, we're talking about a Debbie and compared to Shirley.
That's definitely a Debbie.
Anyway, what we do is these ADR spreadsheets are posted at the LCT.
Let me take it from here if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because you want to give me the screen. I think this is where I take over because I have some things I want to say here.
All right, go ahead. There you go. Organizer, yes. Okay.
Okay, show my screen, and then I want to put mine up. Come on. Okay, this must be mine now.
Yep. Okay,
and you can't see all that stuff on the side, right?
No, we cannot.
Okay, I am going to shut down the comments right now because they'll get in my way. So you're going to have to handle those.
Yeah, no problem. I got them. Thanks.
Okay. And Kat, I presume you're okay with adjusting to my screen? I will.
She says yes, looks great.
Okay. So Vic usually does the posting in the afternoon of the day previous to the day we'll be trading. In other words, he'll put this out on the 10th for the 11th of May. So after the day has ended in New York at 5 p.m. New York time, he will prepare, sometime between then and midnight, he will prepare the ADR chart and post it on the site for the next day. So when you get those ADRs, if you don't want to do your own, you can just take our spreadsheet and then you can do your own highs and lows. I then take it in the morning, and by 10:30 my time, I will post, or 10:30 Eastern time, I will post, 7:30 my time, I will post the first update on the site. And I'll put what the news items might have been, just the keys. I'm not doing a news study here. And I'll put just some key things to think about up here. And then I'll start posting. And I'll keep updating. And we'll have some reversals. If something reverses, I put it in yellow. Sometimes I say I expect it to reverse. And then I log the trades that I take on the chart as I post it and I tweet. Okay, so I just keep you updated a little bit that way. And at the end of the day and in the wrap-up, we also show, in case you don't always have the resource to get the US dollar index or the Dow, I post the chart, the 1 hour chart of the Dow against the 1 hour chart of the index. So you always have it in relationship to how you were trading. Okay, and I post the 5 minute. And the reason I do this is we always show the 5 minute chart in the sessions and the wrap-up sessions for the LCTs. When I trade RFPs, I do it on a 15-minute chart. When I do LCTs, I trade on a 5-minute chart. And the baseline is the 15-minute against the 1 hour with the 5-minute for the LCTs, if that makes sense to you. I also have already looked at the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and I do a lot of my homework on the weekend, so I know where my support and resistance levels are. I know what key news is coming up, and I've been doing this for so long, I'm pretty used to some of the major moves, and we have earnings season, which of course then can move your Dow, all those sorts of things. So that way you could go back and check your charts against this if this is easier for you than doing it in some other manner. Okay, I want to show you what an LCT looks like, and this might look like scrambled eggs to start with, and I'm sorry about that. Vic always comments on my messy charts, but there's a lot of stuff on them. All right, in this case, Carney had spoken prior to our time frame starting, and when a central bank speaker speaks, I am not in any trades, but afterwards, when the volatility sorts out, there could be some very good entries, especially when they occur around key pair personality levels and or the figure being the big round numbers, the 00 numbers. And we have a pair personality chart that we give you in the course, and you get to know that the cable and the euro like the 20 and the 80 and the 50 and the figure. And you get to know how some pairs move in 20 pip increments, and some will move according to fibs better than others. I mean, these things are all things you learn, but we also point them out. And it's not 100% of the time that they always do that, but it is most of the time. And then my turquoise lines on here are key support and resistance levels that come from my trading, and I leave them on the chart. So over time, as we move up and down through them, it's amazing how these get hit again. Funny how traders remember where they were. So here's the swing prior to the start of the LCT time period, and we look for 79, 127, or 162. Pretty simple. Or we look for a figure, okay? Or a figure that matches up or close to one of these, or a key pair personality level that's like this, all right? So we also look at time, and time for me is important. Time is the London fix here at 11, and 11:30 is the London close. And this is the end of the session. And a lot of things happen right around in this time frame, like futures closing, news comes out, other things go on, and I'm generally out and done by then. And just a little bit of my background, I know if any of you have the course, the live event that Vic and I did in Seattle a few years ago was recorded, and it is sold as a day in the life of the trader. So there you got to meet us in person, and we told you more about our background. But yeah, I am a realtor. I am retired from the high-tech world. I spent 39 years selling software, and I love being in real estate and doing this because it fits so beautifully with the LCT trades. Realtors and real estate and people here on the West Coast are not up looking to buy properties when these trades are going on. So by 8:30, I mean, basically, I'm closing up trades, finish my wrap-up, and I'm off to work and I'm a realtor the rest of the day. It's a pretty slick system. And as you know, real estate's been pretty active right now. I am also a grandmother. And I have 4 grandchildren from 6 to 15. So that's, you know, I have 3 kids, and that's that way it sorts out. So I do keep pretty busy. Anyway, in this entry, I waited until the volatility here looked to me like it wasn't going any higher. It was close to a pair personality level, a good level of resistance on a higher time frame. It then backed off, had a little bit of a move back. I took it right here before the London fix, had my stop in place, okay? Down it went, and my green line is somehow missing right here, but it says here 82. I took it off here for half of it, was moving my stop down, and I should have closed the whole thing, but it went back up and stopped me out here. So I got 17.5 pips for that move. Then it went up. Now we've had the London fix, and now I am looking to be more serious about getting in. And what do I see over here? I see the figure zone. And the figure zone can be anywhere from 98 to, say, or 95 to 5 over. It can be in this zone. This is the figure zone. And I noted these pivots, and I noted the 79% retracement of our entry swing. Okay? Granted, you could pull a new swing, too. But this was our entry swing used to gain these levels. So I took another entry right here, same level, all right? Took it off here and closed it here. And the reason I closed it, we came down to this support level. And I had 17 pips. And there's another thing I really like. If I have a 10 pip risk and I can get 30 pips, I like that. And I'm basically done with that pair for the day, because I could keep trading, but I could also give it back. And yeah, it came up again. You could have taken another entry, but I was done. I was done with it. Okay? No sense beating this thing to death. Okay, here's another one. And once you learn these, and once you get the pairs pretty much committed to memory as far as their key personality levels and the figure, it's pretty easy to spot these setups. You always have reached ADR before a trade is going to be taken on a pair. So if you haven't reached ADR, you just keep going, because you're not going to be trading an LCT unless it at least reaches its average daily trading range. So here you are on the 1 hour. You had this spike early, okay, and then we came up here and ADR was reached. Now there were the earthquakes. Sometimes these readjust when you open the platform again, because I would have put this down here as my first entry, but that spike was not there when I first opened my platform. And that will happen occasionally where there's volatility. You will find some nuances in your trading platform. All right, so anyway, we reached ADR. It wouldn't have made a whole lot of difference anyway, as it would have just been up here. And here we had, here's your first swing, okay, and it had gone above. I took another swing to see where we were here, and it was the figure. So I took the figure and came down, closed it at the end of the session, and you know, you want to be out somewhere in this time frame most of the time, unless you're trading it for some other reason. So there were 20 pips. It was okay. All right, and here's multiple entries, and more entries were possible. I do not get all the entries. I do not get all the trades. Some people get trades that I don't get, and they'll show them to me, and I'll show them in the wrap-up also. So we reached ADR. Here's ADR. Okay, here's your high of the session for the day. Here's your low, ADR, and we went beyond it. That line is right here. We had a qualified swing. Swing must be at least 15% of ADR. And we do this all in the spreadsheet for you, so you don't have to do a whole lot of thinking either. So then down it comes. And here it went through the 127, and it went down to the 162. Now, this is a pair personality zone for this pair. This was a market entry. No, excuse me, this was a limit entry. I do remember this one. I had it. Now, sometimes on the buy, you might want to put it 1 pip above. My platform is very tight on its pips, but sometimes I'll give it a pip. Gave it a pip, put in a limit order, was filled, 10 pip stop, immediately moved my stop up to entry, moved it up again, took my first profit, and closed it. this being the London fix. And a second entry could have been taken here. It's a good level of support again, but I just wasn't ready and I didn't get it. Some people could. I mean, it's come back down. This I can almost tell you is pretty close to, but not quite as 79. Figures right here. And it just, after the London close, it will frequently do this. It'll just consolidate for a bit. Then it came back down. Now I still like that level. It's the base of this swing here. So I did take another entry. Most of the time when I take an entry this close to the exit, I will only take 10 pips. But this one, I left it in to see if I could get up to this resistance level, which it did. It was 15 pips, closed it, and was out. This being the end of the session. I got my 30 pips on my 10 pip risk. Took me 2 trades to do it, and there was a third possible. Okay, here's another one. Sometimes extreme moves can work. As you know, we have the Aussie rate cut here. Now this is the Aussie yen, but there you have that huge move down for the rate cut. Reached ADR and came down to, if you look on the daily chart, this was amazing, came down to the 79% retracement from February 11. Beautiful move. And at the 50. Moved from the figure down to a 50. When the Aussie and like pairs, cross pairs, are moving with exuberance, they will sometimes move in 50s and 100s. So it's just sort of amazing how that works. Anyway, we have this swing once it reached ADR. Qualified swing. Here's the start of the session. 127 level, 50 zone. Took an entry. Moved my stop up, moved it up again, and it was still moving, so I let it go. This was a limit exit. It was a limit exit because why? 30 pips. And top of the swing. And it just took me out. I didn't do another thing to it. Bingo. Done. Okay? Then, any of you in the RFP course have the RFP course and trade the RFPs, the number 4 trade frequently will also be an LCT, or you could say it the other way around. An LCT will almost, well, half the time maybe, be an RFP number 4 trade. You will find this to be true. But the LCT must have reached ADR to even be tradable. Sometimes you'll see it's even gone twice its ADR, in which case this is called a reversal to come back down, because at first you would have gone here to here. Well, now it reversed. It went below this low, so now this is the high, and there's ADR. So we had a qualified swing once it did that. Took an entry down here, and why? Look over here, figure zone, figure zone. And the first one took something off of it and moved my stop up, got stopped out, and then I took another entry down here. And again, this is the London fixed time frame. This is the London close. I don't have another line here, but that's what it is. So at the London fix, this was still looking like consolidation to me. So I took another entry right there and took these exits here. Well, then it came down again to this level. And I decided to try it for a third because the emphasis was still going in that direction. Dow, the index, the cross pairs, everything still looked like it was a good potential entry here around the 20 zone. So I took another one and just closed it here at the pivots. These are the daily pivots. This is the resistance zone over here, and that was enough for me. But out of those 3 trades, this was also a number 4 RFP. If you were trading it as a number 4 RFP, you would have just stayed in it and managed your trade all the way up. With the LCTs, I'm a little more reluctant to stay in them because sometimes, you know, they're counter trend in many cases, and it can come back against you. So in this case, I took 3 trades and netted an average of 42 pips. Okay, now I'm showing you one live trade. Sometimes I will show live trades in the wrap-up sessions, and I'm still learning to do this in an easier way. But I will show you then the order and the entry, my limit order, and what it looked like on the chart. Of course, it hasn't gone anywhere yet. And I'll show you what it looked like on my platform. Size doesn't matter, so, you know, it's just you're looking at the stop and the entry level and my target profit. And this just gives you what I was planning to do. Now, planning to do. Planning to do is always a good thing, but it's also about managing your trade so that you don't lose, okay? So without showing you the other umpteen slides that I showed roughly through the LCT wrap-up yesterday, I got stopped out on that one after taking 15 pips, average of 7.5, so I took a second trade, okay? Then I moved my stop down. Here's the entry here, 78. I moved it down 10 pips. The first stop had been 15, moved it down 10 pips. Then I moved the stop to entry. And here I'm showing you the cross pairs that I was watching. And these are hour charts here and my 5-minute chart over here that I was actually taking my trade on, okay? And ultimately, this is what the trade ended up looking like, right? Yeah, it didn't go where I wanted it to do. I could have closed it here. It should have. It went back up and stopped me out. But you know what? I could have, should have, would have, but it didn't. So that happens sometimes. I was risking that it would have gone down. I still love the level, and if you look at it today, it had a really nice move down, but it went up to the figure before it did it. A lot of times these trades will give you a hint as to what they're going to do in Asia later on, and there'll be different setups, so you'll want to know the RFP course there. This would have been one if I had been trading in Asia. It was my husband's birthday yesterday. I went out to dinner. If I'd been trading, I might have taken that one because I was really watching it closely, and it was a good short. So anyway, didn't get a lot on this one, whole 7.5 pips. It's not about the money. It's about managing the trade. At least it was not a loss. Okay? So putting it, these LCTs can put RFP trades on steroids during the LCT time period. And I mentioned this already, but if you are trading RFP trades and you know the LCT trade methodology and course, you can actually get many more opportunities. They're even a better confirmation when you get an LCT that's also a number 4 trade, okay? But I will take the LCT exits at the end of the time frame. RFP trades might be kept for longer moves, and that's fine. And you must remember that this is a time frame requiring trade management. So do close your entries, and do also close entries that aren't filled at the end of the time frame. I have been known a couple of times to forget to take my trade out and was surprised to see that I was actually in a trade I had no intention of being in. And fortunately, a couple times that I did that, it worked, but that's not the thing to do. Some thoughts. So in addition to what Vic said earlier, our parameters have not changed. But here's a few more thoughts. There are not going to be LCT trades every day, but there will be approximately 20 to 30 setups that are really good per month. And some days we'll have multiple setups. And it's ideal to trade post-NFP, probably the safest way to trade around the NFP releases. And over the last 5 to 6 years, we've gained a lot of experience with entries and exits. They're detailed in the course and in the webinars. And we'll be doing another update webinar within the next 30 days too. I've committed to it, and committed to it a couple times, but we're definitely going to do it now. And trade management is the key to the success of this strategy. It is not a set and forget strategy. You do need to manage the trades. So if you don't have the time to trade during that time frame, don't do it. Okay? Here's a Debbie again, and I love her quotes. It's so easy to be motivated, she says. It's achievable to expect an 80 to 90% accuracy if you just try as hard as you can and give it some time and dedication. With odds like that and compounding put into play, the LCTs are gold, gold, gold. I'm so grateful to both of you for this course, and you'll probably hear it all the time. And we love hearing it, Debbie. And Vic, I'm going to give it back to you, but I want to say one thing. I'm going to put it back here. I want to say one thing on this as to how I started with this, okay? And 6 years ago, my grandson was born. I did not have a lot of time. There's 11 months between that little boy and his sister. So I was helping my daughter and not having a lot of time to trade. But I had a lot of time to think and rock and feed bottles and and really go over this over and over in my mind. So I decided to put $2,000 that I called my fund money, trading money, whatever you want to call it, into an account that I would use for education. We did not have the course yet. It hadn't been written, but I was working on it and working on my thoughts with it. And I expected that I would lose that money if I didn't pay attention to maybe some of the parameters that I thought I was going to find worked. And I didn't lose it, but I only traded with 1 to 2% of that trading capital at any given time. You're very rapidly out of risk in the LCT trades. So once I was out of risk, I was fine putting on another one. I have had as many as 6 or 7 trades going at one time. Do not do that until you've been doing this trade for at least 2 to 3 years. It is very difficult to manage that much at one time. I will tell you that from experience. Remember to close your trade entries if they don't fill. And remember to get out at the end of the time frame. This is an intense time of trading, and at the end you are going to be tired of it also. And get out before you make a mistake. You can go trade another kind of trade if you still want to do it. But let your success build your account, and don't trade with more than 2% at any given time. And trade with micros to start. Doesn't matter. It's a cup of coffee. Okay?
Okay.
So Rick, I'll give it back to you. And I didn't see any questions because I wasn't watching them. So now I will be able to see them again.
Let me see here. Hang on a second here. Here we go. Yeah, thanks, Shirley. That was great. I'll just say too, Shirley, as she likes to do, and this is her nature. She's very meticulous, detailed, and so she went over some pretty detailed stuff there. And I know that might even sound a little overwhelming and confusing. Don't let it be. I mean, that's you're seeing sort of somebody who's done this for a while, and so you need to take this one step at a time. Don't let it be overwhelming. It's like anything else when you learn it. It gets easier and easier and easier as it goes along. Henry made a good point too while we're talking here, is that there's way more setups than you need to make money with this. It's not like you have to be taking every single setup all the time. I can tell you, Henry certainly doesn't. I don't. Personally, I like to have RFP trades that match up at the London close, like today on the New Zealand US dollar. It was really nice in that. They just are such a good match. But in any event, here's the bottom line of it all here. We do this every time we have these webinars, so I'm just this is the pricing part of it here. Usually it's, if you go to the website, it's $199, but we put it on for $179, and then you get the DVD if you want for $239, and we leave that open till May the 15th, which is Sunday. This is the London Close trade, the daily update service. I mean, I don't know how you can possibly get going without having this. In fact, we even throw it in for the first month for free, just because you'll see it's really, really worth having. And you can start it whenever you want it. Like, you can go through the course first and then say, okay, I think I have enough of a grasp. I want to start getting the update service, and you just send a message to info@forexmentor.com, and then Kat will activate your service for the month. And that's $57 a month after that if you want to keep it going. But you might want it for, I don't know, a few months anyway, just to really make sure you're understanding all the setups. The RFP course, I've mentioned that. It's really interesting. We did the RFP course after the LCT course, because the patterns that we're setting up at these time windows were like really good, especially pattern number 4 and overlapping fibs. Those two that really set up at the LCT time window. I'll just show you today here actually. This is, I just happen to have my charts, I've got them ready here. This is the New Zealand US dollar pair, what we call our pattern number 4. I really like this level today because it's a really good level of supply, what we call supply. We kind of get into more of that, and actually in the RFP course there's a module on supply and demand that one of our members put together really good, Brian. And then our Coach's Corner, Sareed Harper has joined me in there, and he's got some awesome stuff for software for that. But anyway, because of the confluence of everything happening here, I really liked it. We have ADR and all that kind of thing. So I just wanted to show you that. That's why we're offering the RFP course, because it can really help you in, you know, having that confluence at these really good levels like that. And I use it all the time anyway. So it's usually it's $239, so it's $199 for that. I'll get you a link in just a second, or $239 for the DVD, and all these are good till Monday. What else we got here? You know what? I'll give you the links. What I'm going to do is this. I have the links. I'm just going to paste them in there, and you guys can do what you wish with them. If you have any questions, just let us know. Here is the London Close one, right there. And here is the RFP one right here. Copy. And I'm going to actually, I'll read them out too, because of for people who have the recording. It is, well, you can just, you'll get the recording, so you can just copy this link right here, okay? forexmentor.com/London Close /special.php. And then for the RFP, forexmentor.com/forexpatterns with an S /special.php. That's it. Let me just see here. Yeah. So that's it. So listen, we're happy to answer questions if anybody has any now, and get into that. It looks like everybody's getting answered right now, so that's great. Thank you very much, Shirley. And is anybody? Yeah. Let me see here. Is there any questions I should be reading out here? I don't see anything.
I probably was a little overwhelming. Is it okay for beginners? I want to address that one.
Sure.
It depends on how beginner you are. If you don't know what a PIP is, don't do this until you do. Get yourself educated a little bit about the Forex market. And if you don't have any experience at all, be sure you stay in a demo account until it's becoming clear to you and makes some sense. And definitely when you try a new platform, definitely use the demo account until it makes sense. So, and we give you the ADRs. It's the average daily range or average true range, and it is in MT4 as well. It's not as easy in MT4. I use IntelliCharts for all of my charting. I do place my orders on FXCM through their platform. I do not chart on MT4.
Just one other comment I'll make too is that you know, Shirley was saying she'll use up to 2% risk on it. Personally, I don't. And listen, there's no right or wrong answer on this. Use what's comfortable for you. I'm more like 1%, even a little bit less on some of them. Depends. But I don't. That's not a right or wrong answer. That's like, you know, you have to. What are you comfortable with? What do you want to use for your risk on it? I mean, you know, when you get in that kind of accuracy that she gets, you know, obviously you want to have that kind of. You can commit a bit more to it. You're going to be in good shape in that. But that's good. Is it okay for beginners? I think, Michael, did you get that answered okay? You know, I wouldn't say a rank beginner, no. I mean, I think you want to...
you need to know...
Thank you, Peggy.
Let's see, how shall I put this easily? You need to know what the terminology is within the Forex world. You want to know what the various sessions are that are traded, you know, like Asia, London, and New York. You want to know the hours at which they trade. You want to know what sites to look at, which we do teach you for things like economic releases. You want to know how to know that there's a central bank speaker speaking and stay out when they speak. I mean, there's a few things like that you need to learn. I say that going through one full year of this, you are in every season. You will understand it much more. And we do have some books. You know, a lot of that will be, I mean, the Coach's Corner is a great place to start, for God's sake. And we do have some books that we can recommend that you read to get some of the background and more knowledge. So, you know, we're pretty open. Both Vic and I answer our emails generally within 24 hours at least. And I'm reachable. He's reachable. I live just outside of Seattle. He's Vancouver.
Let me see here. If you already have the course, can you just subscribe to the monthly service? Of course. Yes, sure. Absolutely, Clement. In fact, I really, you know, if you've had the course before and you have put it aside, you haven't been doing anything with it, or you want to get back into the app, for sure you can subscribe just to the monthly service. And I'd really recommend you do that. Somebody asked me, I just got back to my computer, the price.
Yeah,
oh, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, Jeff, the prices are here. 179 for the LCT, and then 199 right here, 199 for the RFP. Here's the links for them for the LCT course and the RFP. I mean, we're not here. Listen, this webinar is about the LCT course. It's just that the RFP course, that what Shirley and I do, everything we've done, it fits hand in glove. Everything does. The Coach's Corner, it's the same. It's another extension of it. I mean, I brought, like I mentioned, Sareed Harper, a guy that I brought in with the Coach's Corner, just a super trader. But everything is totally compatible with what I've already been doing. It works like a charm. So anyway, let me see here. So Jeff, that's that. Just go to those links. Jeff says, I want to thank both of you personally for taking time out of your day to re-explain this to all of us. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Great to have you. Thanks for attending. Really appreciate that. The ADRs, somebody was asking about them. We use, maybe you answered this, sure, I wasn't listening, but we use IntelliCharts. We get them from IntelliCharts. You can get them from other places, or if you have the LCT update service, you get them there anyway, but they are... They can vary is the problem, depending on where you get them from. We use the Wells Wilder, ATR calculation. So,
and I trade across 10 pairs. That includes the Dow and Index. So you'll see that once you get into the course. I don't trade all the rest of the stuff. I don't trade the exotics. I trade the primary pairs that you normally see in the Forex world. I don't get down into the exotics. They work, but I just don't. Their spreads are larger. They have other influences, so I just don't. That's enough for me.
Yeah, and Carl's asking which pairs classically show the high probability setups. You actually, in the spreadsheet that Shirley has, you'll see the frequency of trading on each pair, and I think the euro has got the
well, and even in this webinar, if you go back to the screen that showed the yearly. I don't know where it is on it's back up at the beginning, but it shows how many pips by pair. Yeah, you'll be to it pretty quick.
Right
there you go. So you'll see which pairs have been the most active this year with LCT setups.
Yeah, right. The most pips, not necessarily the most trades, right?
Right, the most pips. Well, oil, what it's been doing, some of the CADs up there normally would not be. But these are the pairs that I trade, so that's it. I don't get into the exotics. Also, I want to make a comment about the 1% and 2%. I am out of risk very rapidly with LCTs, so I might start with a 2% risk, but I'm out of it very fast. And if I were trading RFPs or anything else, 1%. That's all I'd use. But I will start with 2% because I am very used to these and I can get out of risk so fast. And it may be that I need to take 3 setups when I need to take them at the London close or at the London fix and then move rapidly out of risk. And we have some nuances to the way we get out of risk fast. Those are all described in the course.
Do fundamentals play a role in LCT trading? See, this is more of a technical setup more than anything. It's not that they don't, but it's just that it gets reflected usually at that, because the news comes out at 8:30 Eastern Time. By the time London close rolls around, most things have happened. I mean, if you have a speaker speaking at that time, Shirley mentioned that a bit ago, or some big event happening that is unusual at that time of the day, then yeah, I mean that can affect it. But generally speaking, just
I won't trade if that's happening.
But usually there's nothing going on, and so it's kind of good. Mm-hmm.
And you can Google the London fix. There's a lot of stuff on the internet about the London fix, and people who are trying to not make it be a London fix, but it is, and they're never going to be able to do anything about that. Just a little bit of background about how long I've been trading. I have traded stocks and options for years. I found Vic and Forex Mentor. Oh my God, what year was it, Vic?
2006.
It was, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, that's when I started.
Yeah. Okay. So that was my start with Forex trading.
Yeah. Alex, your questions on return and all that kind of stuff is totally, there's no way you can tell. Everybody trades a different amount. how much you risk, 1 to 2%, you talk about, but then are you taking all the trades? Are you missing any trades? Are you, there's just no way to tell that, and everybody's going to have a little bit different results. They're kind of irrelevant, because if I said I return 20% a month on my account, that's got really nothing to do with what you're going to do or anybody else.
Here's another thing.
The way I look at it, 2%. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not about having a great big honkin' account, okay? I don't leave a lot of money exposed to the market. I'm in the United States. I'm not in Canada, where you have some more protection. I don't trust a lot of these firms after we've seen some of what's happened in the past. So as my account builds, I pull money out. I do not leave it in there. I leave enough to handle my trading, and I trade based on that amount that's in there. But I will put it into other things. Now, I'm 72, I don't mind telling you, and I like a little more cash in the bank. So I'm not going to leave it exposed to somebody who's going to go crazy out there, or another Swiss happening or whatever. And if you're in a country where you have more protection, great.
Yeah. Tam says, if I understand correctly, we have to use the New York close chart. I live in the Eastern Time. Yes, that is correct. We use the New York close chart. Okay, which is 5 p.m. by the way, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's our charts roll over into the next day. Our day starts at 5:01 p.m. Okay, on our charts. And the London fix, you got that. That's where the interbank rates are all figured out within about 1 minute. It's a real quick little. But you Google that Bhaktawar, and you will see he's asking what is
trickery around that one.
Yeah, but just
you'll
wait till
enjoy
it's
reading
finished.
about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually. Henry's just saying here, just a couple of trades at 1% per week, and you do great. Okay. Carl asks more info on IntelliCharts. IntelliCharts are a paid service. Back in 2005, I think it was, before I even came to Forex Mentor, I became an affiliate for them because I was using them back when I was a broker at Refco Futures before they went under. But and I became an affiliate, and I still am an affiliate. So just in the interest of full disclosure, I get a bit of the. They send me a bit of the fee as an affiliate payment. For anybody that subscribes, but it won't make any difference to you. In fact, it will make a difference. You'll get them cheaper. You can get them cheaper through my affiliate link than if you go to them. If you want information on IntelliCharts, just send me an email and I'll get it to you. Okay? I don't come here to sell IntelliCharts to anybody and that, but I'm happy to provide them. You do get a discount, and what the heck, eh? Yeah, you're welcome, Carl. He's asked about it. What is the average size stop loss for an LCT? Well, it probably averages
10% of your ADR is a good rule of thumb, and because I don't go on exact numbers, I use 10, 15, and 20, depending on how big the ADR is, but I don't go over 20 even if it was 300. Yeah.
Usually you'll see it's 10 pips, I would say, usually, but it might be 10, it might be 15 sometimes, and there's a real volatile pair, it has to be 20 maybe.
That's right.
Let me go like that. So there's that one. That's the info on that. Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome afternoon. I have to go. Take care. Thank you, Camilla. No problem at all. Really appreciate you taking the time out. Enjoy that little baby. Okay, Renzo, no problem. You get the recording. No, that's great. Well, look, I'll tell you what then. You're most welcome, Alex. Thanks for the questions. I know, sometimes I don't want to, I'm really careful about saying here's how much you're going to make on a return on your account, because there is no way to tell that. And then we get back to these expectations again, and it really bothers the hell out of me when people on the internet say, hey, you're going to make 500 pips a week, you're going to make 30% per month, and you're going to do this and that. That's just garbage. Run the other way. That's ridiculous. They can't say that. And they say it all the time, and it's not true. It's not right. It's a very misleading thing to say, and I don't like putting numbers out for that reason. But yes, Elaine, you will get the recording. It'll be out in 3 or 4 hours. You're most welcome, Tam. Thank you. People are just saying thank you, so I'm just reading these out because I know that you guys can't see them. Louise said, how important are commodities? and they're especially trading the Canadian dollar.
Watch oil.
Yeah, oil can be a big one, and even you can see that you'll see interrelationships between pairs too. Like you'll see the Aussie-US dollar moving usually in the opposite as the US Canadian because of the way they're paired and that kind of thing. But
you will pick up over time if you stay in the daily service, which is priced so reasonably. I mention a lot of things about the different seasons as we go through them and what I'm looking at or what influenced me, and I'm trying to do more live trades in there so that you'll see again what I was thinking during them. But you know, there's so much out there. Like you look at the fires that are going on right now, well, you know what that's doing to oil. You know what some of the geopolitical stuff is. Just start learning more and more about the pairs that you're trading and the countries behind them and influences in those countries, and it will be amazing. Oh, and
wow, here's a good one, Michael.
Oh yeah.
Look at Michael's. Read his question out so people can hear.
Okay, Michael says, do you trade from laptops or do your setups look like a NASA monitoring station? Michael, I have one laptop computer. I carry it from home to the office in town about 4 miles away where I have a realtor the rest of the day. I take it home at night with me and it's on my desk in my home. I live on about 23 acres in a log home in the boonies and I have to deal with HughesNet. I don't even have a nice internet connection. Ugh, drives me crazy. So I do all of these kind of things from the office so I don't have the latency. Yeah, yeah. I have one laptop, and I take it with me to open houses. I have my own Wi-Fi, but I have one laptop. I do all of it from that.
I'm going to finish with one comment here from Henry that is, I think, a really good way to wrap it up. And he says, what is important is this works because the traders are wrapping up in London and going to lunch in New York. That's the fundamental behind this. Then the technique helps where to get in and out. But this is so important to understand why this works. And I think that's really true and a good point there, Henry. Thanks. And you know, and that's the whole idea behind it is we're trading something that happens every single day. You know, the London stock market closes at 4:30 and in London in the UK 4:30 p.m. and 8:30. Pardon me.
8:30
11:30 Eastern.
Yeah, 11:30.
All these time zones running around in my head. But
and
anyway,
we go into that too in the course as to why it works. So you'll have an entry into it. Yeah.
Okay, listen, that's a long session, you guys. We've got to get the recording going, and thank you so very much. Ranjit, you're most welcome. He says here, awesome webinar, as always. Thank you both very much. Very kindly, he says, much appreciated. It's going to be definitely up to me. Yeah, it's the way it is. I mean, we have to, it's up to each of us as traders to put in the amount of effort to get the results. Thank you again so much, everybody. We really appreciate everybody being here. If you have any questions, just let us know, and we're happy to help. And just send it to, you can send it just to info@forexmentor.com, and then we'll get that right back to you.
I was going to make one comment, but it might not be appropriate. It's kind of like those that say, we will teach you to fish rather than give you a fish. Except we may not have a salmon season this year.
Well, we'll do some halibut then.
So we'll have to get halibut. But it is one of those things. We try to teach you how to fish.
Well, then you can walk away with it with a skill for pipfish. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. Pipfish. Okay, we got pipfish.
Yeah, not very true.
I'll let you close it up.
No, you'll have a skill then for forever. You won't have to rely on anybody, and you'll be great stuff. Super good, everybody. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. Thank you for doing the recording, Vic, and everybody for the help in with the questions and everything, and really appreciate it. And again, let us know if you have any questions. Take care.